Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a classroom where learning really goes beyond textbooks, where students are designing actual real-world solutions, exploring global cultures, even creating AI-powered industries. That's exactly the kind of visionary approach we're diving into today. It's a grade 9 multicultural curriculum design. And our mission, really, for this deep dive is to figure out the core principles, the really innovative activities, and the ambitious goals that make this curriculum, well, a potential game changer. We want to show how it fundamentally reshapes a student's relationship with the world.
Yeah, and what's really groundbreaking here, I think, is how this curriculum isn't just sort of tacking on diverse global issues or SDGs or, cutting-edge tech as separate little boxes.
Right.
It's actually weaving them together. It's a holistic framework, and importantly, it strengthens English language skills while doing it. It's about preparing students to navigate a really complex, interconnected world, not just with knowledge, but with actionable skills.
Okay, so let's start with this overall framework then. The core idea, as you said, is integrating all these things, multicultural issues, SDGs, AI, local action, global perspectives. But it all seems to funnel through this one unifying thread: my relationship with the world. How does this framework actually manage to stitch together such, well, different elements and really shift learning from just abstract facts to something personal?
Well, the beauty of it, I think, lies exactly in that unifying thread. It stops being about separate subjects, It becomes about fostering agency in the student. So instead of just learning about climate change, students explore their own relationship to it. They start local, understanding their community's impact, and then scale up to, well, global dynamics. And this really addresses a critical question, doesn't it? How do we equip young people, not just with information, but with the ability to actively engage with these huge issues: climate change, tech shifts, cultural diversity? This curriculum offers a tangible answer by pushing critical thinking and, crucially, real-world problem-solving.
And the learning outcomes you mentioned, they really tell that story, don't they? They're not just, essays or tests. We're talking presentations, action plans, travel proposals, even interview records and AI industry designs. This isn't about just memorizing stuff, is it?
Absolutely not. That's the genius of it, really. These outcomes are transformative. Students aren't just passive receivers of information. They're actively producing solutions. They become, in a way, co-creators of their learning.
Co-creators, I like that.
Yeah, and they develop these critical skills that go way beyond traditional academic measures. Skills they'll need for any future career, really, in any field.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics. The first semester dives right into Theme 1, focused on travel with purpose. And it poses some fascinating questions like, can we look at travel with different perspectives? And can travel change the world? That sounds much deeper than just planning a holiday.
Oh, it is. Much deeper. It's not just about planning an itinerary. It's about nurturing a truly comparative mindset, understanding, global interdependencies. Students plan these themed travel itineraries, sure, but the critical part is they then have to compare local SDG situations, sustainable development goal situations in their chosen destination with those back in Taiwan.
Okay. So give me an example.
Well, for instance, they might investigate water scarcity issues in, say, a North African country, and then critically compare the challenges, maybe the solutions, to water management issues they've seen or learned about in Taiwan. It forces this really global perspective, but one grounded in concrete examples.
Right. So the weekly activities involve choosing a country, exploring its culture, designing a themed trip maybe around food, history, or nature. And then, crucially, comparing those SDGs internationally. They specifically link those to things like SDG 11, Sustainable Cities, 13, Climate Action, 14, Life Below Water, and 15, Life on Land. Okay, so after they've explored these global issues through the lens of travel, the curriculum does something clever in Theme 2. It pivots right back home. Students are challenged to apply that global understanding to their own community. The theme is Green Life X, Local Action X SDGs in my hometown. Asking questions like, how can Yilan become greener? Or how do we practice environmental protection in daily life?
And this is where that local action piece really comes alive. It's not just abstract learning anymore. Students go out, they observe local environmental problems, maybe waste issues at their local traditional markets, and then they design concrete action plans for their own community.
So it's empowering them.
Exactly. Empowering them to be agents of change right where they live. It moves learning from theory to practice.
And the activities sound really practical, too. Things like photographing environmental problems around us to actually document pollution, conducting local field work, maybe at places like the Luodong Night Market, observing waste or water or energy use, and then pulling it all together to present a real change proposal.
Mm-hmm. And what's really clever here, I think, is how seamlessly they weave AI into even this local action theme. It's not just kept for the techie units.
How so?
Well, they might use tools like AI image recognition for waste classification. So imagine a ninth grader taking a photo of, a pile of trash at the market, and an AI helps them identify what's recyclable versus what's general waste. It makes complex technology feel relevant to daily life and immediate problems.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so that's semester 1. Moving into the second semester, the curriculum shifts again. Theme 3 is career exploration. Asking things like, what careers can make the Earth better? And what are future careers? It sounds like it's guiding them towards finding purpose, not just, a job.
Precisely. And this tackles a really important question about future workforce development, doesn't it? The objective isn't just for students to identify jobs, but to truly understand emerging careers, especially those related to sustainability. They do this by interviewing local professionals or even remote workers in these fields. It's about finding a career that has purpose, one that actively contributes to these bigger global goals, rather than just, filling a slot.
And the weekly progression seems really intentional. They explore jobs that are changing the world, then identify my dream job based on their interests. They learn how to prepare for job interviews, then they actually go out and interview professionals. And finally, they present on a job that changes the world. This connects directly to SDGs like number 8, decent work, 9, innovation, and 10, reduced inequalities.
That's right. It's a very practical pathway.
And that leads us into the final theme. Theme 4, New Generation Innovation Industries, X, AI X, Creative Integration. This is where they really lean into the future, asking those big questions. Will AI replace us or empower us? And even, can I design an industry that changes the world?
Yeah, this theme is crucial because it fundamentally shifts the students' relationship with AI. They move from being just consumers of AI to being creators with AI.
Oh, that's a key distinction.
A huge distinction. The goal is for them to use simple, accessible AI applications to actually brainstorm and create innovative industry concepts. It pushes them to think critically about AI's impact on culture, careers, education, daily life, all while trying to solve real problems. They're not just learning about AI, they're using it as a design tool.
And the activities sound really forward-thinking, discussing AI, friend or foe, exploring global future industries, then actually designing our own AI-based industry, presenting our future product, and finishing with an innovation expo. And they even suggest specific, powerful tools: Canva for design, ChatGPT for creative text, Pika for making videos, image AI like DALL-E, giving them a modern creative toolkit.
Exactly, equipping them with the tools they'll likely be using in the future, whatever they do.
So we've seen the really ambitious scope of these themes: travel, green life, careers, AI innovation. But the real magic I often find is in how students actually learn this stuff. Expert, how does this curriculum's learning approach make sure these big goals translate into genuine understanding and, action? It's clearly not just kids sitting in rows listening.
No, definitely not. It's deeply practical, as you say. And they emphasize several key approaches. First, there's a big focus on local field studies and action research. This is where students turn observations into action.
Right, like the market example.
Exactly. They're out there observing waste at markets or learning about sustainable design on eco-building tours, maybe exploring river ecology on wetland walks. It grounds these sometimes abstract concepts in very tangible local experiences.
Okay, what else?
Second, task-oriented group collaboration is vital. This is where they really have to apply their knowledge together. They might simulate running a travel company or a green enterprise. They design AI industry challenges using generative AI. They even engage in SDGs problem-solving competitions. This builds teamwork and those crucial real-world problem-solving skills collaboratively.
Makes sense.
And third, something I think is really powerful: interview and documentary writing. Students interview local professionals, or maybe they shadow someone for a day, observing their daily life. This fosters deep empathy and allows for direct learning from people actually doing the work. You just can't get that from a textbook.
No, absolutely, that human connection. And then they also weave in gamified learning with ideas like a time-space travel board game. Now, this sounds like it could make learning really stick. I mean, imagine learning history and climate action by planning a trip to ancient Egypt to protect heritage, or trying to solve drought issues in modern Africa, all within a game.
Exactly. This approach taps into intrinsic motivation. It makes complex global issues feel like exciting challenges, not just, daunting problems you read about. The game elements they mention, like mission cards where students have to solve an environmental problem, or culture challenges with quizzes, story tasks requiring presentations, or even little dramas, they all integrate the English learning organically.
How so?
Well, students find themselves constantly needing to use target phrases like, we need to figure out, or our solution is, because the game structure demands it for them to progress or succeed. It's learning by doing, embedded in fun.
Right. And they also list some very practical course implementation resources.
Yeah.
Digital tools like Canva and Padlet, which are pretty standard now. But also specific local field study locations right there in Taiwan, like the Luodong Night Market we mentioned, or the Dongshan River, grounding it locally again.
And what ties it all together, perhaps, is their multicultural integration framework. This isn't just a buzzword for them, it seems to be a specific methodology. They actively integrate knowledge from geography, history, earth science directly into the projects. They connect the big SDG goals with very specific local actions the students can take. And, as we've seen, they leverage AI tools to solve practical problems. It's this holistic approach that ensures students aren't just memorizing isolated facts, but they're understanding the fundamental interconnectedness of all these fields, preparing them for a world that is complex and dynamic.
So, when we step back and look at this whole thing, what does it all mean for you, the listener, maybe thinking about education? We've seen how this deep dive into just one Grade 9 curriculum reveals, potentially, a real paradigm shift in education, one that empowers students to be not just knowledgeable, but also active, empathetic, and genuinely innovative participants in this rapidly changing world we live in. It feels like a redefinition of what being educated means for the 21st century.
I agree. This curriculum, it's not just about teaching new subjects or adding content. It feels more fundamental. It's about building a foundation for lifelong learning, for adaptability, creating individuals who can not only grasp global challenges, but who feel equipped, maybe even inspired, to envision and build a better, more sustainable future. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What might education look like, writ large, if every subject adopted such an integrated, action-oriented approach? An approach that's fundamentally about preparing young people for the world they're actually inheriting, rather than perhaps the world we grew up in.